Before we start this video, I'd just like to say thanks to Brett Double J, one of my True Believer patrons on Patreon, for requesting this video. If you'd like to request a video, visit patreon.com/thebirdman to find out how.
We're in.
That's not how you spell less.
Hands in your head!
Why does Trinity, or anyone for that matter from the Nebuchadnezzar, need to physically jack into the Matrix to keep an eye on Neo? Doesn't Morpheus watch him and see and guide his every move in the office building in just a few minutes? I love this opening scene as much as anyone, but it's still pretty unnecessary in the grand scheme of keeping an eye on Neo.
For a guy that claims this is his favorite movie of all time, you sure as hell don't understand it. Trinity is in the Matrix currently because she is attempting to make contact with Neo to free him from the Matrix. Cypher betrays her, so she is unable to set up the meeting with Neo and has to escape the agents. Morpheus later attempts to guide Neo to Trinity in the office building scene. They are not just keeping an eye on him.
I think we can handle one little girl.
Hey, how come the agents don't already know it's Trinity? How come they didn't leap into one of the cops in room 303 with Trinity at gunpoint the second they burst into the room and saw her? Or once she started kicking ass?
There are a couple explanations for this. Firstly, when Smith stated,
"No, Lieutenant, your men are already dead,"
he most likely meant that literally, in that by the time the agents actually got there, Trinity had already killed the officers. Next, if agents just began overriding humans in the Matrix all willy-nilly, they'd run the risk of the blue pills realizing that the Matrix is in fact fake and could threaten the entire system.
That's impossible.
I'm guessing Agent Smith and his two partners go around with the Men in Black memory eraser after these missions, doing impossible stunts, jumping into other people and taking over their bodies. This gives away the idea of the Matrix to normal people, right?
This is precisely my previous point, that body hopping would give away the Matrix as fake. So the fact that you realize this and refuse to apply that logic to your previous sin is, well, a sin.
Trinity's a dead woman if Agent Smith doesn't stop and wait here for a few seconds to give the movie's plot a chance to even happen. Come to think of it, why did he even feel compelled to turn the vehicle? Couldn't he have just smashed into the phone booth on his way down the street?
That's not true. I mean, we see that there are multiple places to jack out of the Matrix if the first exit point gets compromised. I mean, have you not seen your favorite movie?
Truck does a Fred Flintstone tire spin to buy Trinity even more time to barely escape.
It's called wheel spin, dude. This happens when you apply too much power to the wheels of a vehicle, and the reason the Dodge Demon is all hype and no bite.
We have the name of their next target.
The name is Neo.
we'll need a search running.
Why? Are the humans able to use computers inside your computer program to find a person by his alias faster than, well, computers are? How do you not know who and where Neo is instantly?
You're aware that the Resistance is made up of hackers, yes? That means they are capable of bending the rules of the Matrix in such a way that it's difficult to figure out what they are doing.
Something wrong, man? You look a little whiter than usual.
That's racist.
Even stretching the limits of this dumbass running gag, that in no way makes any sense.
It's called mescaline. It's the only way to fly.
Movie promptly dates itself 9 minutes in with a reference to mescaline.
Jeremy, how the hell is the fact that this dude is recommending mescaline the film dating itself? Are you suggesting that people aren't still doing the drug? Because that's the only way this shit makes any sense.
My name is Trinity.
As in Father, Son, and Holy Ghost? Wait, does this movie have religious symbolism?
Just seconds ago, this motherfucker explicitly said,
Movie hits the Jesus metaphor a little square on the head.
and now he's pretending he doesn't know this film's subtext is religion. Jeremy feigns ignorance cliché.
And it will find you.
Why was it so important to have Neo go to the club just to tell him the Matrix is real and it will find him? I mean, couldn't you have typed that on the computer instead of follow the white rabbit?
The thing is, Neo already knows the Matrix is real, or at least he's been looking to prove its existence. Trinity showing up in person solidifies that, and also doubles as her vetting him.
Computer software company has no mechanisms in place to determine when flaky employees are just sitting in their cubicle meditating instead of doing actual work.
What software company in 1999 had mechanisms to make sure people were doing work in real time? What the f*** are you even asking for?
How is Morpheus able to see Neo's location and guide him through the building, but the agents who are connected to this entire computer system called the Matrix have no idea where Neo is?
Think of it this way. Morpheus is watching the Matrix like it's a movie, only he can communicate with Neo in real time. The agents are like users on a PC. They have access to some things, but not all the aspects of the Matrix, a la a system administrator.
Think you're bugged.
Why bug Neo in the first place? Can't you just track his movements through the Matrix itself?
They obviously cannot track Neo through the Matrix, or else they'd have done it.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
That statement actually couldn't be less true.
In what way? Morpheus does offer Neo the truth, that the world as he knows it is a computer-programmed illusion meant to pacify humans so that the machines can use them as a power source. Everything that happens after that is a result of Neo knowing that truth.
Here's that guy Morpheus was interested in. Better disconnect him and totally forget why he woke up in the first place.
Oh hey, Mr. This is my favorite movie of all time. You didn't realize that this machine is trying to kill Neo by flushing him? You know, because he's never used his atrophied muscles and would have surely drowned had he not been saved by the Nebuchadnezzar?
We have only bits and pieces of information.
So all the stuff that doesn't make sense, we'll just chalk up to that.
You know, when you say that something doesn't make sense, you probably should illustrate what that thing is. Otherwise, we have no way of knowing what the fuck you're talking about and cannot offer an explanation. You see, this is how you've brainwashed your audience. Being too vague.
Birth to AI.
AI, you mean artificial intelligence?
Well, you're a hacker, so yeah, you know what AI means.
Again, what the hell is this sin? Are you suggesting that because he's a hacker he shouldn't know what AI means? Or are you stating that because he's a hacker he should know what AI means? Because the first one doesn't make sense, and the second one is just you agreeing with the movie and stating, hey, something I agree with is a sin. Because.
We don't know who struck first, but we know that it was us that scorched the sky.
What? How? And how does that keep the sun out? Did they blow up the sun? How was that accomplished? How do you know about this very specific detail and nothing else?
This man seriously asked, did they blow up the sun? The scorched sky creates a blanket over the Earth that blocks radiation from the sun like a nuclear winter. No, they didn't blow up the sun, and it was accomplished by spraying nanites into the upper atmosphere. The reason they know this, but not the precise details, is because it was a major event in human history that happened about 560 years ago. Tell me, do you know the exact details from the 1400s?
I believe that search is over.
What is it that made Morpheus think Neo was the one? He's a computer hacker who works at a software company. No skills in the area of badassery. Nothing incredibly notable accomplished in his life.
Actually, Neo was a pretty notorious hacker in his own right. Just as he'd been searching for Morpheus, Morpheus had been searching for him, and the Oracle explained that Morpheus would essentially have a feeling that he found the right guy. This is Morpheus acting on that feeling.
Whoa.
I'm just going to point out that CinemaSins didn't audibly give a reason for a sin here. They just sinned Keanu Reeves for going, whoa. So, that's worth these many sins.
The Matrix?
Do you always look at it encoded?
Well, you have to.
Wait, so when Morpheus was guiding Neo through the office cubicles, was he actually looking at falling green lines of code? Is this movie actually saying these people learn how to see real images in this code?
The movie is suggesting that they could read the code well enough to understand what is going on. You see, coding is a language, and if you're fluent enough, you can read it the same way you read English or Korean. In fact, if you're decent in ASCII, you'll be able to understand what this means.
Isn't Cypher jacked into some machine back at the ship? Is everyone asleep? There's not one person who could just happen to walk by and see Cypher hooked into the Matrix and see him talking with an agent? And how does Cypher get back? I thought it required someone back at the ship to wake you up and get you out of the Matrix with a hardline.
The Wachowski sisters explained that when Neo interrupts Cypher, he was actually writing code that would allow him to jack in and out of the Matrix without a live operator. As for why no one noticed him in the Matrix, since Cypher has been conspiring with the agents for a while, he'd know the perfect time to have this meeting.
It's very cool, but how do they make a connection on this call if there's no one on the other end to pick it up? Neo will be racing for a ringing phone by the end of this movie, and if he could just pick it up instead of getting shot, he'd establish the connection and transport back out. But leaping into the Matrix, they still use real phone lines, but it's apparently just for show? I honestly don't know. Fuck it.
When jacking into the Matrix, the user's avatar simply materializes into the Matrix, sort of like respawning in a video game. Remember, there is no phone, and that this is simply a representation.
We're in.
Wait, they went back into the Matrix to see the Oracle? So is the Oracle part of the Matrix, or is she plugged in somewhere? Don't even bring up the sequels when you defend this shit either.
Well, that's easy. She's a program originally built to examine the human psyche in order to make humans better accept the fantasy world of the Matrix. After she served her purpose, she went into exile and began helping the humans. In other words, yes, she's a part of the Matrix.
What was said was for you, and for you alone.
Which is why I told you what the Oracle told me while we were on the elevator.
Well, Morpheus ain't the one.
Deja vu.
This has kind of always bothered me, even though it's actually really cool and I accept it as a fantastic idea, but this is not deja vu as we humans normally experience it. You don't see something and then see an absolute repeat of it 2 seconds later and go, wow, deja vu and shit. You usually experience something and feel like you've done it before, but it feels like you did it long ago. And chalk this up to plot convenience, even though it's awesome.
Normally, I would go, Jeremy sends something he likes cliche, and call it a day, but this is something that has annoyed me about this fandom since I got on the internet. Deja vu is simply the feeling of experiencing something more than once. What happened here is the exact definition of deja vu, which is a French term that literally translates to already seen. So no, you blue pills, this is definitely deja vu.
Damn, Smith is taking this like he's a mannequin or some shit.
I mean, he's being manhandled by one of the best red pill fighters in the Resistance. Just because you're stronger doesn't mean you will always have the upper hand in a fight. Leverage is still a thing.
You all look the same to me.
That's racist. Tank takes 2 hits from the electricity gun but lives and is basically fine, even while only 1 brief shot from the same gun later takes out Cypher completely.
I've said this before, but 50 Cent has been shot 9 times, once in the face. Sean Taylor got shot in the leg and died. The point is that just being shot isn't enough to kill. You have to be hit in a vital organ, and even then you might survive.
That red pill right up your ass!
You can see Morpheus blink at the wind power of Cypher's P in Pill.
Thanks for pointing that out, I guess? But why is that a sin? We know that the body of those that are jacked into the Matrix can involuntarily react to stimuli inside and outside of the Matrix.
Just pull a plug here.
Murderous Traitor conveniently kills good guys in the order of their importance to the remainder of the story.
That wasn't convenient. Cypher is in love with Trinity. He wants to make her suffer the way that he has suffered unrequited love. His plan is to kill her last. I would think that Neo is a bit more important to the story than she is.
The leader of every ship is given codes to Zion's mainframe computer.
So you can't just send a message to Zion and say, yo, change the codes. They got Morpheus and they're gonna make him talk. Peace.
That's a fantastic idea. Why didn't the Wachowskis think of that? Oh, probably because the reason hovercrafts are a thing is because in order to enter the Matrix, they need to travel to a broadcast level that isn't deep within the Earth where Zion is. This means that they need to leave the area they're in to return to a level where they can communicate with Zion, but that would sever the connection of those jacked into the Matrix, which is the point.
Every mammal on this planet.
What mammals? Are there still other mammals out there? Are they hooked up to the Matrix too? Dreaming about being in fields and getting taken down by mountain lions? Because there sure as hell aren't any other mammals in the real world, what with the sky scorched and all. Why are you talking about all the planet's other now dead mammals in the present tense, you ass?
He's clearly referring to the mammals that existed on the Earth prior to the human-machine war, genius. No one but you thinks he's talking about mammals in the present tense.
Using lift instead of elevator proves we're not in an American city.
So apparently it's a sin to film a movie in Australia. Or I guess it's a sin because Jeremy assumed this fantasy world is an American city even though it's never described that way in the film.
What the hell is this agent waiting for? They don't see you!
He's an agent. Why the hell would he be concerned with getting the drop on clearly inferior beings?
Trinity!
Oh, now he pulls out the gun. And as you can see, pulling it out now has terrible disadvantages, like Neo being able to dodge the bullet.
Are you serious? The agent had no way of knowing Neo would be fast enough to dodge bullets. You know, because it's never happened before?
Only human.
Even agents with artificial intelligence have to say some bullshit just before they kill someone so that the hero can be saved at the last second.
You see, this illustrates my problem with CinemaSins these days. You guys have gone from pointing out actual errors to nitpicking stylistic and artistic choices made by the filmmakers. You bitch about the dialogue here and completely miss the gun being pointed at the temple of the agent, and then in the next scene, he's facing Trinity and gets shot in the forehead.
I guess Morpheus just finally realized there are no handcuffs.
Or he was drugged and being held captive by 3 agents and breaking out of the handcuffs would spell certain death?
The Oracle.
She told you exactly what you needed to hear.
Okay, fine. We're gonna go with that Star Wars stuff where Obi-Wan said Anakin Skywalker was dead, and then later we find out, oh, it was just a perspective I had that wasn't misleading in any way whatsoever. But did Neo really need to hear the Oracle's prophecy about Morpheus sacrificing his life for him, and he'd have to make a choice? Wouldn't he have made the choice to try and save Morpheus anyway?
No, because as Tank tried to explain, Morpheus being captured could mean doom for the inhabitants of Zion. This meant that Neo almost certainly would have agreed with Tank to let Morpheus die if the Oracle hadn't told him about the choice.
Neo, I want to tell you something.
Something that can wait until after we're back on the ship, but feel the need to delay you with right now.
Delay him from what? Did you watch this movie? They are under the impression that they are currently safe and have no way of knowing Smith is body hopping into the hobo a few meters away.
How is it possible that none of the Nebuchadnezzar crew remember this building from the opening scene like Agent Smith does? Especially Trinity, who was f***ing there.
Huh?
What the hell does this even mean? What does that have to do with anything?
Why don't they remember this building that I'm pointing out for no reason while Neo is running for his life?
Even though Neo's mind believed himself to be dead, the power of boners is far stronger.
Jeremy says boner.
And then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see.
For instance, the 2 sequels to this movie.
Say man, you can shit on Revolutions all you want, but shitting on Reloaded? I'm going to need
Guns. Lots of guns.
You're breathtaking.